Welcome to the newest section of canal in the UK. You may recognise this lift bridge. So we are on the Lichfield Canal. Now just behind me here, this is where we were last time we were here. This was full. Great progress. This for any canal trust in 7 months since I've been here, when this was still being dug and lined. That would be great progress for almost every canal trust I know of. Not the Lichfield. The Lichfield move at an amazing pace. And we got this now. Another section of water. This is all lined, it's all bento map. It was all paid for by sort of HS2 and various other bodies. And it takes you through on a slightly new course across Darnford Moors Golf Club and out towards the A38. Now this section, as I said, was filled, and they had stop planks in. I can't see it's this side, so they had stop planks in across here, and then they had it all bunded. And maybe less than a month ago, they opened those up. This was finished. Phases 2. This was phase 1. Phases 2 and 3 were up there. Opened it up and let it fill. They've got this massive pump here to help fill it, which they've got an extraction license, so they can take water out of here and pump up into there. The thing is, though, we have had an insane amount of rain. If you're from the UK, you'll understand what I'm saying. I've never known so much rain, and I think this has largely filled itself. I think it's still been pumping, but it's not taken long to fill. The other thing that's been happening down here is towpaths. Now you'll see there's a towpath on both sides here. This is all to do with the nature trail, so you can kind of do a circular walk, figure of 8 around here to pick up the canal and various other things on here. This was done by one of the waterway recovery groups, I want to say around September time. Then we got these points here. This was also done by the Waterway Recoveries Group, and these are electric points. So when this is open, we're at the kind of start of this section now. When this is open, this will mean boats can charge here, so you can get electric boats charging up here and stuff. Again, another income for the trust and a greener way to a boat. So across here, we have HS2. Now HS2, if you haven't seen my other videos, has cut through the canal. So let's just take a little hop over to there. We go to the bridge for the West Coast Main Line. So I'm just at the northern part of the site here on HS2. You've got Capper's Lane Bridge kind of directly behind me here. The truck tunnels, the bridge under the West Coast Main Line is there. So the line's going pretty much in that direction. So Capper's Lane, Huddersfield Junction is just down there, and right there you've got the Lichfield Cruising Club behind us. So up ahead of us now, you've got the line continuing north. Now, this is obviously north of Birmingham. A lot of people don't realise that this line is carrying on past Birmingham, despite Sunak's recent cancellation of phase 2. It goes up to an area called Handsacre, where it joins the West Coast Main Line, which allows high-speed trains to go north on existing tracks. It was always planned to have this connection. That hasn't changed. The difference is now this is kind of the end of it. The original plan was to connect up to the West Coast Main Line and then have another junction carrying on up north. This allowed traffic to go to Stafford and Stoke-on-Trent, and then until phase 2 was complete, it allowed trains onto the West Coast Main Line to carry on north, like I say. The second phase obviously has now been cancelled. And now that junction has been downgraded. So originally it was supposed to go onto the high speed up and down on the West Coast Main Line, but now it's going onto the slow tracks. It's a cheaper junction, although it needs signalling. The problem is with that, it's going to mean there's no more. They've got to get, the trains are going to have to get across tracks there to get onto the high-speed tracks, and there's no capacity increase. So there's a bit of a worry that they're not going to be able to run freight and the high-speed trains on that line, which is kind of the whole point of HS2. So this is Fultham Woods, and this bridge was completed in July. Last time I filmed it was already in place, but unfortunately I didn't realise. So I'd missed it by a couple of days. The bridge is pretty big. It's 56 metres long, 19 metres wide, and weighs 6,200 tonnes. They did all this in 9 days, the original dig, with the West Coast Mainline shirt. It took 3 days to dig it out, and then they put the bridge in, then they had to fill back and put the tracks in. It was lifted into place using self-propelled modular transporters, or SPMTs. You see these quite a lot on major projects. They're like long tracks with loads and loads of wheels on. Now all those wheels are independently controlled, and they can go up and down independently, they can turn independently, which means big projects like this can go over rough ground and all sorts, and I have no trouble whatsoever. They dug out like 15,000 cubic centimetres of earth and ballast out of this track here when they did it, so it's quite a lot to sort of dig out and then replace after. So here we are now just across from that bridge, and we are on Cappers Lane Bridge. Now I won't go too far into this because I've covered this quite a lot, but this is going. There's not a great deal happening here at the moment. All the work's concentrated on getting under the West Coast Main Line and sort of that section there. There is some work obviously happening over there, so the railway comes directly sort of at an angle across this bridge. The canal's obviously right behind, underneath us. So if you haven't seen, this bridge is going. It's never been used for a boat underneath. The canal ends just there. Lichfield Cruising Club just behind us there, and Darnford Moors, there's a lock just in the trees there and a lock house, and then you're into Darnford Moors just over there. This is going to all be replaced by HS2, and there's going to be a bit of a deviation to the canal here, and then a new bridge and stuff. So back over to this other side now, back to the canal. You can see it just ends here. So it's not that much distance, probably 600-700 metres from here to the old Cappers Lane Bridge. There's a lock in there that's got to be restored, as well as this dugout. I'm not too sure the ownership of this land. I expect HS2 currently own quite a lot of it, because they just buy up all the land in the middle. So as I said, this is a circular walk, so you can kind of come back up just to the other side of this lift bridge up here. The idea is there's going to be a main tow path for mooring. You can't moor on this side, it's sloped. You've got more on that side where you've got the piling. So we have the winding hole here. It won't take a full-size narrow boat, but it will take, I think, about 50 foot off the top of my head. But just behind the winding hole, you can see there's this sort of trees. That's the old line going in that direction. So you had the old lock just in front of us there, which I did feature on another video. That's pretty cool. So this has been left as like a nature trail, and you can walk around the old lock, which is being left in position, and it's quite a unique thing. I've never really seen it where you can kind of explore an old abandoned lock, and you can really see the thickness of the walls and stuff inside those locks. It's fantastic. When they were actually digging this section and lining it, they'd got a bit further down here, and so much rain came off the side of, down the side here, that it washed this bank out. Now the water's in, it's a lot more sort of secure. The water holds the bank together. Now we can't visit Darnford Moors without another look over here at the lock. It's just so cool, I love it. So you've got here, these are old coping stones, look. I'm not sure if they put them there to stop anything from driving across there, because that was a big hole last time I was here, so it's probably quite soft. Or if they put them here as more of a seating area. I assume it's seating because they kind of all go around the path. And there's more over there as well through the trail, so that's great. Just here though, here's the lock. It is so cool to see. So this is never going to be used again. This is on the old line, which goes kind of across part of, I think it's the old golf course. I think they've closed it now. But you can come down here and have a good look. It makes you realise quite how big these things are when you can walk through them. I hope you're enjoying my videos. I've tried to improve them quite a lot lately with sound and stuff. I'd really appreciate your comments to let me know how I'm doing and what I can improve. Also, while you're there, there's now a join button. And there's also a super thanks button. It's just a little way to say thank you for me doing these videos. If you can afford it, it's very much appreciated if you do. And also click like and subscribe, and click that bell button, and you'll hear about my future videos. Also get onto Lichfield and Hafton Canal Trust. Links will be in the description. Sign up to them. They're brilliant, they really are. If you look over that side there, so there's the lock we've just been in. If you look across the other side there, you can see a kind of bush line. That is the old line. So it would have come round and it would have joined on to sort of Falkland Road, gone under Falkland Road, sort of much further down than what's planned to go now. So last time I was filming, all of this was dry. And I think I came up to these pylons, I remember. They'd just done the lining up to this section here. This was classed as phase 2 up to this point, and phase 3 was there. I knew that they had got funding at that point, but I wasn't allowed to mention it on the video because it hadn't been announced yet. So I came up to about here, and you can see now this is them laying it at the time, and it was just a big muddy mess. When they were lining this section, which was possibly on my first visit, they had trouble kind of around this section here because it was so boggy. It was about 7 months ago I came, and obviously we've had a ridiculously wet winter, and they were, even with the tracked vehicles, they were struggling to get up here. But phase 3 was done again by on-site. Great progress. Looks, as far as I'm aware, there's no leaks, so it's all bentomat lined with multiple layers on top of that to protect it. This gravel again protects the banks. You can see where they're sloped, so this is not for mooring here. This is purely for nature to be able to get down into it. As always with the Lichfield and Hafton Canal Restoration Trust, they have thought about the environment. So you can see here there's some planting going along here, this new topaz here, and all across the back here there's loads of trees planted. Now this is often done with corporate volunteer days, where companies sort of pay their staff to come in and help out. And yeah, loads have been planted, and they've got a really high success rate with survival of the trees and the whips and stuff like that. So give it a few years, that'd be a nice sort of tree and bush line across the back here, as well as some here. You've got pylons going across here, you've got electric going across here, so there's only a certain amount they can plant on this side. So you can see the tunnel sections ahead of us here. So that's going under Darnford Lane, which is where you can see the tent with the little yellow. But there's the open day here today, so they're set up for that. That's Darnford Lane just behind. So those tunnel sections are left over from, I think it was the Birmingham Road project. They're going to go under there to make a bridge across, subject to planning, of course. And this bit already, you can see where the orange digger is there. That's where the canal ends at the moment, and it's bunded there. But this bit is all dug out ready. They've got footings in across there for what would be the wall going up to the tunnel. So this is kind of the next phase. I don't think they're going to rush to be doing that section. The reason being, they've still got to get under the A38, and I don't think they own any of the land on the other side of Darnford Lane. So, but when this is connected, it's quite a bit of waterway. Once HS2 is done and the Cappers Lane is rebuilt, and this is connected, as well as the Lichfield Cruising Club section, there is a fair bit of canal where the trust can start getting boats and hopefully earning some money off of it. So from the UK's newest canal, have a great day.